weapons that nobody knows about. We have weapons that nobody knows about.
There was a weapon used, a sonic weapon, that took out many of the Cuban bodyguards that were used to defend Maduro. Lots of people saw the details about that weapon and were concerned. Is that something that Americans should be afraid of, something the United States is combating?
Yeah, it's something I don't want to, nobody else has it. We have weapons that nobody knows about.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the elect and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and truth. This is Brother Tamayan from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video, right? So, this woman is interviewing the king of Babylon, right? And she asked about the weapons, the supersonic weapons that America possesses in their possession, right? And she asked if it's gonna be, is it something that American people should be worried about? And this man literally danced around the question, right? You American people, you guys are finished, man, right? After this guy is done going around, which is not gonna take long, conquering these other nations. These other nations are gonna just get pissed off. But when he's done, or when he's on his way to do it, right? You know, he's gonna be making war with other countries, right? Other nations. At the same time, he's gonna be using those weapons against you people in his country to keep you guys calm, man, right? Because a lot of protests are gonna happen, even more than what's happening right now, right? A lot of uprising of the people, you know. I'm gonna get into Second Ezra's also, right? When it comes to this, it's good. These weapons are gonna be used in the time of Jacob's trouble to annihilate you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you American people, you know, you Edomites, right? This is going to be used against you too, right? Especially to calm crowds down, right? You know, these rubber bullets are not going to work. These tear gas are not going to be enough. So this man's going to use his hypersonic energy guns, whatever, heart attack guns, guns that make you bleed out of your nose, right? And these are just to name a few, right? He just talked about it right now, and you know, and attacking the people of Babylon the Great is not off the table, right? He just straight up told you right now. He didn't deny it. She asked him. Let me rewind.
Nobody else has it. We have weapons that nobody knows about. And I say,
people saw the details about that weapon and were concerned. Is that something that Americans should be afraid of, something the United States is combating?
Yeah, it's something I don't want to, nobody else has it. We have.
So she didn't ask him that. She asked him if that's something that American people should be worried about. And he went on to talk about, he danced around the question, oh, we got weapons that no one else has. Like, you know, she didn't ask you that. She's asking you if that's something that the American people should be worried about. That's how you know this man is about to, you know, to put you people into that 100% total subjection and make this place a totalitarian rule, right? This is gonna happen, man. You know, he's gonna use his weapons against you. Let me get especially you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We've been talking to you for a long time, telling you what this man's about to do. This is but you don't listen. Jacob's trouble, man. This is Jeremiah 30:6. Ask ye now, and ye see whether a man doth travail with child, whether do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and there's a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, right? Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, right? That's one scripture. They shall not regard their rulers or kings. This is Second Ezra's, right? But yeah, in Jacob's trouble, they're gonna use those weapons against you. They're gonna come to the hood. They're gonna bleach your niggas' skins out, especially you women. You know, you like bleaching, right? You're gonna get that bleach, man. Right? They show you in movies like Eraser from back in the 90s. They show you in other movies too. Like they have weapons. They've been having weapons. Right? They have weapons that they kill world leaders with, a heart attack gun. And this is, you know, I made videos about this on my old channel. The weapons that Esau has that no one has, right? No one else has. in their possession, right? This is second Ezra 15 and 16 says, "If for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, they shall not regard a king nor princes, and the courts of their action shall stand in their power." So what you think? You think the kings are gonna just let that happen? That's why it's called an insurrection. People are gonna attack the palaces. People are gonna attack the these government buildings, and this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna use their missiles. They're gonna use their heat-seeking wave guns, whatever the fuck they have, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to, right? They're gonna use these weapons on you people, right, to back you up. Hey, back the fuck up, right? They show you in in that movie with Will Smith, I Am Legend, right? When they use a missile on the people when they're trying to get into different borders, right? They show you a bunch of other movies, man. It's called predictive programming, right? For because of their pride and cities shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Men shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So this is what's going to happen. You know, these kings of the earth, this is not going to just happen without these people exercising their might. You know, they're going to militarize the police. They're going to give these police officers these weapons so they can use it against you people, right, the public. And you're seeing it amped up right now, right? So don't be alarmed when you see these government officials make these police officers like judges, man. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, that's what these police officers are. You know, they're judges, but they're going to be given that authority to make those judgments on the spot, right? Just like how that woman got shot in her face, and now she's in the dirt, right? That's on the spot judgment. The rest of these ICE, whatever you want to call them, right? Special ops, they're gonna be put on the ground. They're gonna be ground troops, militarizing these police officers. Streets are gonna be locked off. Intersections are gonna be locked off. They're gonna be blocked, right? So you see it happening now, because with Yahweh I have called together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. So all these countries are gonna war against each other. We know that's a fact, because the way Donald Trump is moving right now, you can see that he's a man of war. Okay, he's the son of perdition. Just had a scripture in my mind. Oh yeah, so the sword, man. The sword in Genesis, Esau. By the sword, let me just get right to the point. By the sword thou shalt live. Shalt thou live. This is Genesis 27 and I think 39 or 40. I don't want to just get Genesis 29. Let's just get right down to the point. Whoa. By thy sword. Oh, Genesis 27, Salakia. Where did I get Genesis 29 from? Genesis 27. All right. And the main point is at 40, but I'm going to read from 38. And Esau, which is, you know, the so-called white race, right? This is their weapon, which is the sword, which is the gun, the weapon, anything that brings forth destruction. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Right? So the fatness of the earth, which is oil, right? Because they don't. This is how they're going to prosper, going around slaughtering and taking, right, from those nations that have the fatness of the earth. Esau would just come and swoop and take it, right? Because when you look at the places, I mean, America has a lot of resources, but it doesn't have the resources that requires for a lot of things to happen in to make moves like that when it comes to trading, right? They don't have a lot of spices here. They have oil, but they don't want anyone else to have that control. So they control the fatness of the earth. That's why they go around slaughtering these nation rulers, man, right? And take that control of that oil. That's another prophecy of Esau. Where is it? Where is it? And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, "Thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dwelling and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword thou shalt live." So the sword, like I went into something last week, and I'll talk about that after. "And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck." Right. So I went into the Delta Force last week, and this is their emblem, right? This is what they go by, the sword, right? The airborne says here, shoulder sleeves insignia worn by Delta operators with a Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife, right? Inside the outline of an arrowhead. So it's an arrowhead right here, the red part on the outline of it. That's an arrowhead. And in the middle, it's a fighting knife, right? Which it's a mini sword, And Esau is known to be a mercenary. When you go back into the time of Cain, his descendants did the same thing, right? His descendants created, I think, weapons of steel, and that was his blessing back then, which his name literally means a dagger, right? Or a killing instrument. Kwayan, right? So his descendant, which in the reincarnation, which is Esau, was given the same blessing, and now we're seeing the same thing on this earth right now. Esau has been given the weapon of the sword again, and through the sword, now he's not just, he doesn't even use the sword, but a sword doesn't have to be a literal sword itself. It can be a killing instrument, like a missile. That's a sword. When the Lord said that sword shall be in heaven, right? That's not talking about a literal sword. That's talking about these missiles, man, right? A missile is a sword. A knife is a sword. A sword is a sword. A gun is a sword, right? Because it's a killing instrument. It's a modern day sword, right? A bow and arrow. And who's the master of these weapons? Esau, Edom. So don't be alarmed when you see these things start happening in the earth and these kings using their weapons on their own people. Shalom.